Hey everybody, welcome back. I wanted to step out in the backyard today and talk about a piece of gear that I've been using and carrying for the past couple of months and give you guys my thoughts on it. Two things real quick before I get started though. I am in the backyard. It's actually relatively quiet right now, but if you hear birds or geese or dogs or something like that, or cars, it is what it is. I'm in my neighborhood. The second thing is, if you guys wouldn't mind, go down below right now, hit the like button on the video, then scoot over, hit the subscribe button, and then when the little bell pops up next to that, just turn it to all. That makes sure, one, that you guys get to see all the content that I publish in the future, and two, it helps out the channel with the algorithms and getting the message and the content out there, supporting the work, and I really appreciate that. Now on to the gear. We're going to be talking about the Thyrm SwitchBack 2 today. Now, the Thyrm SwitchBack this is the second generation, attaches to the end of a handheld light like this, like a Surefire or a Streamlight specifically, and it gives you more options to carry and manipulate the light in a defensive or tactical style situation. So for demonstration purposes today, I'm going to be using a training gun because, again, I'm in my backyard. I don't want to be waving a real gun around even if it is clear. Just avoid that whole thing. So the idea here is you can hold the light in your hand and get your normal, full handed grip. Yeah, I know a lot of people like the pinky under. That's what I used to do as well. But with the ring here for your index finger, that really makes it easy to use this grip. And you can still use, your FBI hold, your neck index, your Harry's, whatever different, methods you may be practiced in with a firearm and a handheld light. But this gives you a few more options. If you ever been doing some work with especially if you were doing it live fire on the range with your handheld and your pistol, and then wondered, well, how am I going to try to do a reload? And it's all awkward, and you end up dropping mags and stuff. It doesn't work out super well. This ring lets you flip the light around, so now I have my entire hand to reach down, grab a magazine, do my reload, whatever, and the light is out of the way. That is awesome. That is feature number one that I love about this thing. All right. Next thing you can do with this is, instead of having to work on, again, if you've ever done this at the range, even if you weren't using the actual light because it was daylight outside, you realize that it's harder to shoot well with one hand. Now, we should all be practicing our one-handed skills. However, even if you're a really good one-handed shooter, you're probably going to be a better two-handed shooter. But it's kind of hard to find a way. I mean, we've seen the old school Surefires that have like the syringe thing on them, and you could try to use that. I've tried that. I didn't like that at all. With this, again, flipping this out of the way, that ring I told you guys about has this little thumb notch right here at the top. That notch literally lets me present out with both hands on my essentially normal grip. It may be slightly different, but not very different from what I'm used to. And then just push with my thumb on that notch, and I've got my light coming on almost like a weapon light, but I've still got my good two-handed grip on the firearm. Now, this does take some practice. It's not something you're just going to be able to pick it up and do immediately, probably, unless you're super talented, in which case, congratulations. Those are the basic uses of the thing. Now, I haven't done a whole, obviously, because of the whole coronavirus thing, haven't been doing a whole lot of shooting and stuff with it lately, but I've been doing a lot of practice in the house, manipulating it around and doing some reload training with it, and search and pop out, present the gun, doing different holds and stuff with it too, just to keep practicing all the different methods. But this tool makes using a handgun, even a rifle, you can make this work with a rifle or a shotgun. It makes it so much more effective if you don't have a light mounted to the gun, or if you're in a situation where you hear a noise or you're out walking, you don't want to be out walking around with your weapon light, shining everything with that. That's kind of not the safest thing, and probably not the most legal thing to do either if you're out and about. So you're going to be using a handheld light. Looking, okay, that's fine, there's nothing behind that bush, whatever. But then if you're carrying a concealed carry gun, again, with no weapon light, gun comes out, you're not stuck with this. You can come in, and again, it takes a little bit of practice, and I may not be the most proficient at it, but even now, I could use this and I could make it work. You can do your reloads, you can grab your keys, you can grab your cell phone, you can do other things that you may need to do in that moment where you might need a pretty much free hand. So, just some thoughts. Let's talk about some of the features of this and how it's built. Alright guys, so features of the SwitchBack 2.0. Starting in the back here, we've got this really stiff, durable clip here. The whole thing's made out of some very high density polymer, but if you notice, turn it where you guys can get a good angle on it, that clip has kind of a triangular shape to it. It's not like your typical metal clip where it's just flat, and then if you make something plastic out of it, it's not going to hold up well. This, from an engineering standpoint, was designed very well to be very stiff and durable. Moving around, we've got the finger ring here that we've already talked about with the thumb notch that we've talked about. I don't know if that's the correct technical term. I don't really care. That's what I'm calling it. Finger goes in the ring. Sorry about the truck. Pretty self-explanatory. But what if you get into a fight and somebody tries to wrench this thing around, or it gets caught on something, or whatever? You could break your finger. You could deglove yourself. There's all these options, these bad things that could happen. Yes, except no in the case of the SwitchBack. And that's because this thing actually has a break open feature to it. So now, I can make this where you guys can see it. There we go, maybe a little bit. Anyway, it will actually come apart. There we go, like that. So your finger can just come out of it and you won't have any problems. And if that happens to you either on accident or you do it on purpose like I just did, it's very easy to fix by just sliding it back in. Very simple, very effective. Now I'm sure if you did it 300 times, it might stretch it out to the point where it just pops out all the time, but these things aren't that expensive. I'll roll the price in here on screen somewhere. I think I paid around 30, 35 bucks for it. Those are the basic features, guys. Now, the Thyrm the SwitchBack also did come with a little metal washer, which I'll show you guys a picture of. For use with streamlight lights, and it also came with a little rubber O-ring. I'll take this thing apart and show it to you as well. So what that does, that O-ring keeps it from wanting to turn on the back of the light. But now let's start talking about some other things about this, some things that I'd like to see improved in a Gen 3, if you will, version of this. So, things I'm not the biggest fan of with the Thyrm. Since we just talked about the O-ring, let's talk about that. When I first got this in the box, I took it out. There weren't super clear directions on how to put it together. I mean, there were a couple of diagrams and things, and again, I'll roll in pictures of everything. I've still got the box and the paperwork and everything. Not the most clear directions, but I followed the directions like I don't normally do, gave it a shot, and it was very difficult to get the tail cap tightened down enough with the O-ring in there that I could actually get light out of it. The O-ring was keeping too much distance from the switch in the back and the contacts on the battery. Now I figured out a way around that, and that's basically you put the SwitchBack on, you finagle the O-ring down in there all the way to the bottom, then you put your tail cap on. And eventually, when you can't move it anymore with your fingers because you're not getting a whole lot there to get purchase on with your finger and your thumb, you actually grab the entire thing and rotate that. And the friction provided by the O-ring will help with that. If you don't put the O-ring on there, it'll work just fine. This thing will just spin around the flashlight if you do that. I did it for the first few weeks or so. Didn't really cause me any problems. It was just kind of annoying and I got tired of it, so I fixed it. I wanted the clip to be on one of the flats of the flashlight instead of on the knurling on the side. Just me. Another thing I'm not a big fan of with this design or this iteration of the clip, or the SwitchBack, is the clip. Now, I already said the clip is great in and of itself. I don't like the location of the clip. I really wish they would make 3 different models. A model where the clip is on the left-hand side, so if you turn it up like this and the ring is at the 12 o'clock, make one where the clip is at the 3 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, or the 9 o'clock. 3 different versions, and let people decide what they want then. To me, that would be the absolute best, because as I sit in my pocket and I clip it onto, let's see if I can do this here, clip it onto a pocket. Now granted, it's not riding in my shirt pocket every day, but I'm going to use this as an example to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so if I want the ring facing towards my left arm like it is right now, hopefully you guys can see that well enough. That clip in its position right behind the ring makes it want to rotate in. So the ring is kind of pushing into me and it's pushing my pocket out. And it's just really uncomfortable. And also that means the ring isn't where I expect it to be. So when I go to grab it and I go, oh, ring, 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 oh, there's the ring. And now I can pull it out. It's just not I think, the most stable design, and it's definitely not the most comfortable. Something else I really wish that they would do, sorry, the sun's starting to come out and I'm getting a bit of shadow on my face on the other side. Something else I wish that they would do differently about this is, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's just a problem with me, could be, but when I carry magazines outside my waist on my belt, and those pouches will end up sitting right over the activation button and turn the light on, constant on, in my pocket, and I don't notice it until it starts burning the crap out of my leg. That means I'm going through batteries like crazy. Now, I keep plenty of batteries on hand, but if I don't have to use them just, you know, being wasted in my pocket because my light's on and I don't know it, I'd rather not do that, right? I mean, I think we can all agree that makes sense. If they could change the geometry of this just a little bit so that this button sits a little bit deeper in the pocket, maybe like a 1/4 inch or so, but still be able to use the thumb notch to activate the light in this fashion, I think that would be perfect. That would be ideal. Just those two changes would make this thing so much better, in my opinion. Now, that's just me. I'm the only one that I've ever heard complain about this product at all. Everything I've ever heard about it has been amazing, and I can see why. It's awesome. It does everything that it says it's supposed to do, and it does it really well. All right, guys, so that's my review of the Thyrm SwitchBack 2.0. To summarize, I think it's a great product. It does everything that Thyrm says it's supposed to do, and it does it really well. It just has those two little things about it, the battery issue and the clip positioning, that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I would like to see some changes made on that. But I'm still going to keep it. As far as I know, there's nothing better on the market for using a handheld light alongside a firearm. So Thyrm, if you guys watch this and you would like to make a 3rd generation with some of those changes, that would be awesome. I would buy one in a heartbeat, and I will test it, and I will do a follow-up review. So just some food for thought. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative, and I hope it, I don't know, gave you guys a bit of a perspective on a product, or maybe a different perspective on a product you may or may not have even heard about before. So thanks again for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Y'all take it easy. Stay safe out there. Roll Tide, and I'll see you later.